Welcome back to Pisobilities at the Business Portal. We are still talking about Jumpstarting 2014. In our first segment, we talked about January, following your money, February, making your statement of assets and liabilities, March, income less savings equals expenses, or the proper way to save, and April, about retaining, reducing, or eliminating certain spend items. Now, to continue on with our tips for 2014 and what you can do to change your financial life and become wealthy this 2014, we go to May. During May, you can talk about and look at investing in debt, or rather growing out of bad debt. No? Ang utang po kasi, if it's not well managed, can grow and bury us under debt. Pwede po tayong malunod sa utang. Gaya ng sinabi natin kanina in the Statement and Assets Liabilities portion for February, kailangan po natin pagmatyagaan at tignan po kung ang ating mga liabilities ay lumalaki. Because if our debt grows, then there is no way that we can start our journey to be wealthy on the right pace. If we start investing and yet we have very problematic debt that we are dealing with, kahit ano pong kita ng ating paglago ng pera, hindi po matutustusan yung mga obligasyon natin sa utang. So the first thing you should do in building your wealth is to get out of bad debt. Now, what is bad debt? Bad debt is the debt that grows in debt. Ito po yung utang, kumbaga, na nanganganak ng utang pa. So these are very high interest loans that compound usually monthly. Ang mga credit card po at ilang mga personal loan ay mga example po ng bad debt. Mas lalo na yung mga utang na ginagamit natin para sa mga pangailangan or sa mga wants natin na hindi naman ganoon kahalaga in terms of financial value. So these are items that depreciate in price, such as gadgets or travel. You know, once you spend on travel, pag nakabiyahe ka na, pagbalik mo, utang ang katapat mo. So, itong mga bagay na to, ideally, hindi po natin sana ginagamit ang utang para tustusan yung mga gastusin na yon. Ideally, we use debt, or the good way to use debt is to use it for growing our wealth. No? Purchasing house and lot or real estate through housing loans, these are one of the good ways of using debt. Purchasing a car in so much as it helps us in our active income earning is also a good way to use debt for as long as afford naman po natin yung monthly na kailangan nating bayaran. So, if we have or are in a situation of bad debt, yung hindi na po natin alam kung paano natin mababayaran yung ating utang, then the first thing we should do is really look at paying off that debt in the quickest way possible. No? One of the things we can do is sell off some of our assets. Kung meron po tayong mga ari-arian, mga gamit na hindi natin ginagamit sa bahay, mga appliance at kung ano-ano pa, maari po natin itong ibenta so that we can have some additional payments for our mga debt obligations. So marami po dyan, especially online, ways to sell certain items of value. You can also look at friends and family that you can sell off other items that you have, no? Or things like this. No? Maari din po tayo maghanap ng additional income earning opportunities so that we can increase our payments for the debt. We can also look at channeling our savings, yung perang hindi natin, tinabi natin, no, dahil nakapag-adjust na tayo ng ating spending, into paying off for our debts. Because if our debts grow, then there's no way that our wealth will grow. So, look at erasing your debt one line at a time. Now, if you need more information and more knowledge about this, please feel free to get in touch with us at colaycofoundation.com through info, that's INFO, at colaycofoundation.com, where we can give you additional advice on how to manage your debt better. This coming June, invest, no? Financial independence aligned with our national independence. Invest in freeing your mind and learning more about money and growth and investing. No? Learn something new. Kung matagal na po tayong nagmamasid at nanunood at nagbabasa tungkol sa pera, then start learning something new. Deepen your knowledge. Read a book, attend a workshop, check out blogs, videos, etc. about money management and investing. Start talking to friends. Determine how they use their money. Alamin natin yung mga good things and bad things so that we can improve our own managing of our personal finances. Ignorance po kasi when it comes to money is one of our biggest obstacles. If we don't know what to do, if we don't want to know what to do, then wala po talagang pag-asa. No? Wala po talagang pag-asa na yayaman tayo kung ayaw natin matuto, kung ayaw natin alamin at maging bihasa sa pagpapalago ng ating pera. The good news is that it is not that complicated. We don't need to be experts in the stock market or the currency market, etc. No, we just need to know and understand enough so that we can use it to our advantage. Di po ba ang Facebook, hindi naman natin alam kung paano yung gumagana yon? I mean, on the back end, yung mga programmer, paano nila ginawa yon, paano nila pinapatakbo yon, but it doesn't really matter to us because we know how to use it. And that's the important thing in growing our money. We have to know how to use it, not necessarily how everything fits together, especially if we're not very keen on knowing all the technical aspects of finances and all these economic terms. But still, if we retain our ignorance, kung magiging ignorante lang po tayo, wala pong mangyayari sa atin. Information is very important and is a source of our power in building wealth. This July, take some time to identify your wealth goals. Mr. Francisco Colayco puts that into 3 baskets called the protection basket, the life goals basket, and the retirement basket. For each basket, identify your purpose. Para saan ba ito? Then, identify your target. How much is it worth? And then third, your timeline. When do you need it? So for protection, there are 3 things that you can look at, and we'll discuss it in a while. But you need to identify, magkano ba? What kind of financial protection do you need? For life goals, this can be anything under the sun, your obligations to your family and community, and your aspirations for yourself and your loved ones. So dito po kadalasan bumabagsak yung mga education of our children, our dreams to have our own house and lot, to travel the world, to have certain gadgets, etc. So these are our lifestyle obligations and aspirations. You are the ones that can determine that. And these wealth goals identify for you where your milestones are on your wealth journey. Then lastly, we have retirement. For that particular point in time wherein even if you want to, you can no longer work. So everyone will achieve that at a certain point. Hopefully, we achieve a golden retirement. Yung masaya tayo, hindi tayo namumroblema, we can take care of ourselves, everything that we need and want. But most of us right now are not preparing for retirement. So those of us that have now listened to Colayco Foundation, sana po mag-umpisa na tayong magtabi for our retirement. So after identifying these life goals, we start working towards them. And this is what we can do for the next half of the year, August onwards. So this August, look at securing your financial protection. Just like debt, emergencies are things that if we are not prepared for it, they can sidetrack and make building wealth very difficult for us. So ano po ba yung mga components ng financial protection? We start with emergency funds, cash reserves, and insurance. Ano ba yung emergency fund? Sana po ito ay katumbas ng 2 buwang sweldo or 2 months worth of income that you set aside. These are money that you can put in your savings account that has an ATM, that is ATM withdrawable, so that if in case something happens and you need cash immediately, you have access to it. This is not money that you've saved for investing. This is really money for protection. The goal of this money is not to grow, but is to be available for if and when you need it because of an emergency. Ano ba yung mga emergency? Yung mga life or death. Hindi yan yung mga sale sa mall, no? Yan yung mga tipong pag hindi natin pinagastusan, malaking pinsala financially and non-financially ang mangyayari sa atin. Now, cash reserves are similar to emergency funds in that they are also for financial protection. But cash reserves now are equal to 6 months worth of income or katumbas ng 6 na buwan na kita. If your employment is such that you are on contract and there are periods wherein 1 year kayong walang trabaho, then maybe your cash reserve should be extended to 1 year's worth of income. Cash reserves are particularly used for long-term or longer scale, longer periods of financial loss. So, pag nagkasakit tayo at na hindi tayo makapagtrabaho, nawalan tayo ng kakayanang kumita temporarily, then we can use our cash reserves. Or if we lose our job, sometimes it doesn't take 1 month or 2 months to find a new job. Minsan tumatagal po na 6 na buwan o 1 taon. So, kailangan po natin ng pangtustos ng ating sarili at pamilya habang naghahanap pa ng bagong trabaho. So, this money can come from our cash reserves. Now, your cash reserves, these are the 6 months worth of income. Ito po, pwede nating ilagay sa isang time deposit or a money market mutual fund. This gives us enough access, kumbaga madali po nating maiwi-withdraw ang pera kung kailangan, but a little bit of growth, no? Hindi po ganun kataas ang kita dito sa time deposit o kaya sa money market mutual fund, usually between 2 to 5% lang, pero mas okay na rin po yun kesa sa wala. Anyway, these are money that we can use if in case we have an extended emergency or unforeseen circumstance. Lastly, we have insurance. Now, maraming insurance products na inaalok, no? Marami dyan yung mga insurance na merong balik ng pera or an investment component. Now, we in Colayco Foundation don't recommend that you get insurance investment products as your first financial investment. There are other investments that can give you better returns if you are really looking for growth. So, if you are looking for financial protection, consider term insurance. This is the basic insurance, yung pinakapuro po na insurance that we need if we would like to secure financial protection. Ano pong nangyayari sa term insurance? Dito po, kung sakaling tayo, kailangan natin ng, meron tayong mga dependents, people and usually children, who rely on our ability to earn income. Term insurance is there so that if something happens to us and to our ability to earn income, kunwari po magkasakit tayo na a very major illness or we are disabled, na aksidente tayo, nabawasan ng kamay, daliri, paa, whatever, or the total loss, no, nawalan tayo ng buhay, there is money that comes in and is given to our family so that they can continue to live as if you were there supporting them. So that's the objective of term insurance. Other types of insurance you should look into are health insurance and medical insurance. More than dying that only happens once, no, mas malamang na may magkakaroon po tayo ng sakit na kailangan natin ma-hospitalize. So, ito pong health and medical insurance are insurances that can be used to help us address those kinds of medical or health-related conditions. So, these are the 3 main insurance that we should consider and we should spend on, especially if we have limited budget. Now, when you have certain financial things in place already, then you can go into discussing and assessing in greater detail other types of financial products like investment insurance, hybrid products that you can use. There are specific purposes for these kinds of insurance products which can greatly benefit your financial life. Now, we discuss more about these kinds of financial investment planning in our workshops at Colayco Foundation. So if you're interested in that, please do get in touch with us. For September, the last month of that 3rd quarter, do start learning about understanding the news about global and local economy, financial markets, business, etc. Usually during September, this is the time wherein mid-year economic briefings are released by government, by financial houses, investment firms, etc. This is where it really gets technical. Ibig sabihin po, ito po yung mga panahon na pinag-uusapan nila, yung mga bagay gaya ng GDP, inflation, the cash reserves in the government, etc. Minsan nakaka-overwhelm itong mga topics na to. But the reality is that all these things affect our personal finance, our ability to earn and manage our investments and our wealth. So we need to know and understand what is going on, what is happening in the world and in our local economy. So start reading, the online business news websites and business newspapers, etc. Watching the news. Tingnan po natin, wag na po tayo dun lang lagi sa mga gossip or mga news about celebrities, etc. But let's start seriously listening and understanding all the news about business and finance and government and economies, local and outside. Because hindi po natin namamalayan, kung hindi po natin susubaybayan, hindi po natin namamalayan na nag-iiba na po yung condition ng ating investment. So it's very important that we start and learning about these things because these affect our personal finance. This coming October, start learning and really assessing. Kung nag-umpisa po tayong mag-save the first quarter, starting March, nag-umpisa na tayong mag-save. Meron na po tayo sigurado by October, initial capital to start investing. Meron na po tayong pondong na itabi para sa ating investing. But just because you have money doesn't mean that you should just go into any kind of investment. Kailangan po pinag-aaralan natin yan. We need to know what our map to wealth is, what our strategy is. And in doing that, we have to be aware, our eyes open to both the rewards and risks of investing. All investments have risk. Hindi po yan naiiwasan. It is a reality of financial life. Now, if all we're looking at is ano yung pinakamalaking balik ng pera, ano yung pinakapatok, ano yung pinaka-secure, di hindi po natin natitake advantage yung opportunities na meron. What we need to be able to understand and assess is how the benefits of investing in certain investment products or financial products is or accompanied by manageable risks. Risks we can understand and risks that we can mitigate if in case may mangyari na hindi natin inaasahan. One example from 2013 is the up and down of the equity or stock market. Hindi po natin inaasahan at the start of 2013 na biglang bababa po. No? Ang ganda-ganda ng track or takbo ng stock market from January to about May, and then bigla na lang bumaba. So this is where yung tip natin for September comes in na kailangan na intindihan natin yung mga pangyayari in the local and global economy. Because at that time, during May, something happened in the United States and a lot of foreign investments shifted their investment funds back to the United States, having an effect in our local economy. So yung pataas po ng pataas ng stock market natin last year, bigla pong bumaba. And since then, up to the end of 2013, it didn't recover that same kind of height. No? But it recovered in the sense na medyo naging mas stable. No? Hindi na po pataas-baba ng ganong kalaki yung ating market. So, to be able to effectively invest, we seriously need to study our investments. So, what we recommend in Colayco Foundation is looking at investments such as mutual funds to start with. No? It is an average risk or moderate risk investment that you can consider, and it gives comparable growth. No? Instead of getting into more risky investments like the stock market or foreign exchange, the mutual funds are one instrument that are really designed for starting investors that do not want to have to manage their money or their investment on a day-to-day basis. So here, professional fund managers look at and manage and protect the fund or the investment of all the investors and take advantage of opportunities to grow the fund and also take strategies to protect the fund in times wherein the markets are not doing well. So study mutual funds, study the risks and rewards of investing in mutual funds, and in particular mutual funds. You can learn more about available mutual funds also through Colayco Foundation. We conduct seminars about mutual funds as well as have programs and have recommendations about top fund managers that you can consider. Second to the last month of the year, this November, after studying, hopefully you don't take a whole year to study an investment product. After studying about mutual funds, start opening. Start with one mutual fund. Open one. Hindi po mahirap yan. It's as simple as opening up a bank account. but combined with having very specific financial goals about your life goals and retirement goals, then here you can use mutual funds to really build wealth, to build something. Here you can use mutual funds effectively because you now know not just what your wealth goals is, but what the risks and rewards are and how to manage them. Because investing is not about making the right predictions. It's about following the right rules. This is what Alexander Green has said and what Mr. Colayco recommends to everyone. Follow the right rules in investing. Once you've decided on a specific fund that you'd like to invest in, then stay committed. Invest regularly, small amounts, so that you can take advantage of the ups and downs of the financial markets. This is called the cost averaging strategy. More about that in our books and in our seminars as well. And lastly, we come to December. This December, it's not enough to just sit down and stay happy that you've done all the tips for January to December, but really you need to check and update your progress versus your SALN. You need to know if you're really becoming wealthier or not. Have you really been improving your financial life? And your SALN, or Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth, is one tool that can help you assess your progress. You compare your SALN in December to your SALN from February to find out whether you've increased the number of assets that you have and if you've decreased your liabilities. Overall, building wealth is really a lifelong balancing act. We look at our needs and our obligations, our wants, our aspirations, what we have available in terms of what we can earn, what we can save, what we can grow, what is in our control and what is out of our control. So all these factors are things we look at and manage in building our wealth. And we in Colayco Foundation are with you every step of the way. All you need to do is get in touch with us and see what we can offer and what we can share with you and help you, guide you on your journey to be wealthy. So, in closing, I'm Guita Gopalan from Colayco Foundation, and I'd like to invite you to learn more about us from www.colaycofoundation.com, and also check out our new campaign for 2014, One Wealthy Nation. As One Wealthy Nation, we'd like to start one Filipino at a time in building wealth for the Philippines. Not just financial wealth, but wealth in all aspects of life. Our spirit, our money, our intellect, our health, our environment, and our nation. So wealth is not something that is purely for our own use, but is something that really is meant to be shared with everyone. Because what else is money for but to be able to use it for good uses, for our family, for our community, for our nation. Visit also www.KSK Co-op, an investment cooperative formed by early subscribers of Colayco Foundation. You can also find out more about them through 637-3731 or 41. Just look for Ronnie or Joel. Please also visit our upcoming website, www.pisobilities.tv. Here we will put all our past episodes, the best episodes of Pisobilities at the business portal so that you can find out more about them and learn more about your building money and building wealth. In closing, I'd like to thank everyone on the team here at the Global News Network, lahat po ng nagsusubaybay sa atin. And invite everyone to our next Pera Mo Palaguin Mo workshop on January 11, 2014. That's a Saturday. For those who are interested, please do send your messages to 0917-853-7333 to inquire. Thank you very much to Baby, Rolly, Jigs, and Mateo. And this has been again your host, Guita Gopalan of Colayco Foundation. See you here again at the Pisobilities at the Business Portal, your gateway to business trends and opportunities.